Okay, firstly, what we are going to do now, we are going to put our shoulder measurement. Half of it is 8, so I'll put 8, and I will put my uh, bust measurement from my shoulder to my bust is 10. So this is the line that I'm drawing right now. And then after that, I'm going to go to my waist measurement, half length, which is going to be 17. So from here, from 10, I'll measure 7, and then I'll cut. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to make an illusion of a full body measurements before we go to our actual project, so that you should be able to see where we are coming from. If you are a beginner, this is a beginner friendly tutorial, so that you understand each and everything that we are doing. So after I'm done doing that, I'll start with my measurements. So this is my bust line. I will yeah, this is my bust line, and this is my waist line, and then we are going to continue. So my armhole is actually going to be my half shoulder measurement, which is 8, and you know our shoulder is not straight, so I take 1 inch down uh, from the actual place. So from 1 inch I'll measure 8 inches going down. But before I do that, I have to uh, make sure that I also input my neckline, which is 3 is standard. So after that, I'll measure 8 from the slant 1 inch that we took, and then that is where my armhole is 8 from the 1 inch that we have subtracted, since our shoulder is not straight. So that is actually upper chest. Others, they call it other upper bust. Yes, that is upper chest, upper bust, and I'll also label it accordingly. Yeah, so you can call it upper bust or upper chest, the chest before the actual bust. Yes, so you can use either of it. So on my, I'll measure, I'll go to the midpoint on my armhole, and then I'll come inwards with half an inch. After that, before we finish that, let's go to my waistline. What I'm going to do, I will need to have underbust. So my underbust is 4 inches from my bust. My bust is 10, underbust is going to be 14. So I'm going to measure 14. So after I'm done, I'm going to label it underbust. That is just after my actual bust, between my bust and my waistline. As you can see here, after we are done with that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make a freehand for my armhole. If you have a curve ruler, you can use your curve ruler, but for those who do not have a pattern ruler, you can just use your freehand. There's no problem with that. So my neckline, the standard is uh, 3 in front and 1 at the back. So I'll just try to make an illusion for that. I'll also just use freehand. This is freehand for those who do not have pattern kit pattern. So the 1 inch is for the back, and the 3 inches is for the front. So from there, since we are making a princess bustier, I'm going to take 6 inches from my normal bodice. So this is where I'm measuring. So everything else that we are going to do, it will start from the point 6, from the 6 inches. So we are going to cut the upper part that I've closed. We do not need it, but I just wanted to give you an illusion of a full bodice so that you understand. If you are a beginner, this is a beginner friendly tutorial. So we are going to start from here, but remember you must have a half-inch seam allowance. So we are going to put our half-inch seam allowance on the starting point. So I'm using 6, I'm starting from 6, but I will use a half-inch seam allowance. So everything that we are going to do from now onwards is going to be from at this point going onwards. So this is the starting point. So this is the upper bust, under bust, and waistline. This is what we are going to be working with. So let's start with our project. So actually now we need to have a nipple to nipple measurement. My nipple to nipple is 8. 2 divided by 8 is going to give us 4. So I'm going to measure 4 and draw a straight line on upper bust, under bust, and waistline, a straight line, so that we should insert our measurements. Now after I'm done with that, what I'm going to do now is now to put in the dots. Up there I'm going to put 1 inch, 1 inch, and then on my under bust, on my waistline, I'm going to put half inch, and then I'll come to my under bust. I'm going to put 1 inch, 1 inch, and then after that, what I'm going to do is to draw the dot lines so that you can see, and I'll come half an inch from the bust so that it should relax, and then I'll connect the dots, and I'll also go up on the upper bust with half an inch, and then I'll connect the dots at the chest line. Remember, 1 inch. It depends how full your bust is, because like for me it's 40. So just make sure it shouldn't be sharp edges. It should be at least a little bit curvy. Yeah, because you don't want pointed areas, because our body is curved. So I'm putting my measurements. My bust is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10, and I'm also going to put that on our upper chest, and my waistline is 34. So 34 divided by 4. So whatever I'm going to find on my waistline, I'm also going to put it on my under bust. I want it to be snatched. After that, I'm done. These are my actual measurements. I haven't put yet allowances, but now I want to do it step by step, and then we are going to make sure it's curved, not pointed. After that, I'm going to put the dot allowances, because on the waistline it's half 1 inch. I'm going to put back 1 inch. The same applies on the under bust. I took 1, that means it's 2 inches. I'm going to replace it 2 inches. And since we are going to cut on the bust, I'm going to put 1 inch for joining. Allowance is going to be 1 inch since we are going to cut in the middle. 1 inch there. And then upper chest 1 inch as well. And then now I've replaced all that I'm going to cut. I've replaced everything. That is not allowance. Just take note of that. So since here on the chest is going to be 5 inches, so instead of replacing the 2 inch that I'm going to take back, I will just measure the 5 from this side I measured 3.5, and then that means I need 1.5 inch. After that I'll add 1 inch seam allowance, making it 6. So what I'm drawing here is going to be our new armhole. So I'm cancelling this, the one that we created at first, with the full bodice. So our new line is this one, the one that I'm highlighting. This is going to be our new armhole. Now I have to add our normal allowance that we are going to use. I'm just gonna put 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches to be on a safer side. If you are a beginner, make sure you have enough seam allowance. You never know what might happen. Yeah, so this is everything that we are going to have. So after we done that, I'll make sure that I cut everything, and I'll also draft the back side of it. So when you are yeah, just make sure everything is in order. That's our new line. And this space that I'm writing is our zipper allowance. We are going to use it when we are drafting the back side. So this is the front. This is everything that we are going to have for the front. And if you want to make a sweetheart neckline, you can just come down on the middle chest by 2 inches, or you can make it curvy, or you can make it straight. So yes, this is straight. It's either you make it straight like that, or you can either make it a sweetheart. It's up to you, but for me, I'll cut it when I'm cutting my fabric. Yeah, so that's just an example. So now I'm going to make sure I cut the front. This is everything that we are going to have. Remember, it's not a full bodice. We are just gonna cut what we have drafted. So you make sure you add all your seam allowances. So at the end there on the waistline, I also added 1 inch seam allowance, apart from the one that we added on our normal bodice. So this is the pattern that we are going to transfer on our fabric to cut for our princess Bustier. So I'll just cut quickly, and make sure you have to be patient. There's no rush. So it is as easy as that. It's not that difficult. So you just make sure you take your right measurements, your accurate measurements. If you do not know how to take body measurements, kindly comment on the comment box below, so that I can show you how to take your correct body measurements. Like I said here, I will not cut on the fabric the style on the chest. I'll cut it on the fabric. When I'm done cutting this, what I'm going to do next is to go to our back to also draft the back side of it. I hope it's understood. If you have any question regarding this tutorial, please do not forget to drop your question. I'll answer. If you need clarity on anything, I'll gladly reply. So you are going to cut this on fold, and the other one is going to be 2 pieces. So now we have to do the back side. We are going to take the very same measurements that we took. This one is chest line, also called upper bust, upper chest. So yeah, these words you can use them alternatively. Hey? Upper chest is upper bust, chest line is bust line. And make sure it shouldn't confuse you. You can use it interchangeably, but I'm making sure to use different so that you should get familiar with it. So yeah, I'll just do the measurements and I'll put all the measurements in order so that you should be able to see. So now I'm transferring the same um, nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4, and I will draw a line, a straight line for the dart at the back as well. Make sure all the measurements are the same. So after that, I'm just gonna come and draw our darts. I'll take half inch, and I'll go to my, I'll just take it from my upper chest, rather on the chest line. You don't really need to do much at the back there. So it's just that, and just take note that your at the back here, our darts are a bit longer than our flank. So now I'm inserting my measurements. My chest is 10 and I'll put 10, and my waistline is 34 divided by 4. I've already done that, and like I said earlier on, my underbust is the same as my waistline, so I did that. And then after that, I'm just gonna add my 1 allowance for the dart, and then I'll add seam allowance, and then on the underbust I will do the same 1 and then my seam allowance. On the chest line and upper chest is going to be also 1 measurement. I'm just gonna add my allowance. I'm using 2-inch seam allowance, and then I'm going to add everything. So if you want at the back here, you can also curve the neckline how you want it to be, but for me I just want it to be straight and simple, just like that. We're done. So yeah, shouldn't complicate things. After that, we are going to put our armhole. Remember, in front it's 5, so we are also going to measure 5 for armhole, so that should be the same with the front. And then you curve. If you have a ruler, you can use your ruler, but if you do not have, you can use freehand. There's no problem with that. Just make sure you curve it rightly. Other than that, that's it. And don't forget to have a zipper allowance of 1 inch, and then add your seam allowance at the end, which is 1 inch as well. That shouldn't be too difficult. And then in my next video, I'll show you how to cut and sew this. So after we are done here, thank you so much for watching. In my next video, I'll show you how to I cut on the fabric and sew it, and you'll see how beautiful it will look. But this is how you draw the pattern for what you want to make. Don't forget this allowance of 1 inch. So this is our pattern. At the end of the day, it's as simple as that. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on my channel. And if you have any other question, please kindly drop it. Thank you so much. I appreciate.